You ready? You ready? New fire, new fire. And that's real talk.
Of Real Talk with Monica, guys, season 3, and it's exciting time. And guess what? We going out with a bang. And you know what? I got my special co-host Ken Peebles, SAG actor, and I'm so excited to have him on my show to kill it for a season finale of Real Talk with Monica. We're gonna do some laughing, great discussions, great topics, and you know what? Before we get started, let me introduce you to my co-host, Ken. Let me tell y'all guys about Ken Peebles. Ken is a SAG actor born in Richmond, Virginia, straight out of the Jackson Ward, baby. Yes, right down the street in the ward. This ain't no New Orleans, this is the ward here in Richmond, Virginia. Ken graduated from Thomas Jefferson, and you may have seen Ken face in recent projects like in acting and film, like Black Wall Street, the Jackson Ward murders, and also Mercy Street, Killing Lincoln, Criminal Intent, and one of my favorite shows of all times, The Wire. Idris Elba, come on Real Talk with Monica, baby. I got the man right here that can try to make some connection. We need a family reunion, and that would be great on this show. But before we get started even more, Ken will be in upcoming productions of Vampires in Virginia and The Loving Story. So, guys, let me introduce you to this legendary actor. Welcome to Real Talk, Ken.
Thank you for having me, Monica. It's a privilege to be here.
Yes. So, Ken, can you tell my Real Talk viewers a little bit about yourself?
Well, I started acting on a regular basis about 15 years ago. Prior to that, I was working a job at VCU Health Systems and doing acting at the same time. And it just got too much for me. I was acting, working, leaving, going to New York, coming right back, going straight to work.
Wow. So, Ken, how long have you been acting?
So I started as a child, but on a more regular basis for the last 15 years.
Oh, wow. So what made you have that acting bug?
I've just always liked, way back from a child,
Yes.
I knew I could act and I could make people laugh. I knew that when I was like 7 or 8 years old.
And you know what, Ken, before I decided to have you on the show as co-host, and you know, I want to do a documentary, and can't tell that they had off the bag, but I want to do some great work with you. But one thing that I did like about you was that you have a powerful voice. Where do you get that voice from, man? That's that Barry White voice.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just comes up, comes out.
And you know, we was talking, Ken, about acting, and some of these people, you know, these young actors, and you know, our favorite discussion, and we know we had Viola Epps on, and one of the things that we talk about is how bad do these young actors really want it?
Yes, you have to really want to do this. It's not always about the money, because if you're doing it for the money, then you may as well stop doing it. You have to have the love to want to act, because sometimes the money is good, sometimes it's a low, where you got to weigh out what do you want.
Right.
Do you want to fill your tank up and pay $20 to ride to Norfolk to do a shoot that you may only get $80, and you only actually really got $60. But do you want it? Do you want to go to New York, ride for 6 hours, be on set for 14, ride 6 hours and come back? You're up 24 hours. How much of that can your body take? The younger you are, the more you can take it. But when you start getting older, believe me, if you're up for 24 hours, you're going to be tired for a week before you recover from that.
Yeah, because I remember we're Facebook friends, and I remember you put a post like, wait a minute, I done did like 12, 14 hours on the set, and then turn around the next morning and get right back to the set again.
Right, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And you got to be willing to work in all kind of conditions. While I was down in Wellington working on Under the Dome, and it was hot out there. And they said you could leave if you want. Some people was actually having heat strokes. Several people just passed out. So, like I said, how bad do you want it? If you got a regular job and you got to call in the middle of the night, what are you going to do? Are you going to call in sick and go on this acting gig? Because I have done that. I have literally called in sick, and I was on a train on my way to New York. How bad you want it?
Yeah, and you know, this is a great roll into what we're going to have is comedy night here on Real Talk with Monica. We're going to have the great guy, Preston Brown. He's legendary in the Richmond area, and he's graced the stage many times at the Comcast studio. So I'm blessed to have him on there. And then we got John, the one they call Boston. And then also as a special treat, we got Watt Smith, and he's also an actor. And a matter of fact, y'all did a project together.
Yes, we did John Adams together. You know, we wasn't on the same episode, but we worked on the same project.
Right. So I'm looking excited for a great episode. So it's going to be one of the great shows that we're going to have tonight. So, in speaking about comedy, Ken, what are some of the comedians that you like growing up listening to? You know, like maybe Red Fox or...
Well, see, I started with comedians. The first comedian that I came in contact with as a child was Frank Fontaine, and I know nobody in here probably know who he is.
Now, let our Real Talk viewers know a little bit about him.
He was on the Jackie Gleason show,
Okay.
and he played this crazy drunk, but he had a good baritone voice. He could sing opera, and that's when I really started.
Okay, wow, we got our first caller already. Welcome to Real Talk.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
That's good. You know, I look at Bernie Mac a lot on TV, and I would like to see more black comedy clubs in the city, downtown, or on Gray Street, where blacks can come and see a good comedy. You know, because I always love comedy. You know, I went to one they had at the mosque where they had all the big names up there, and they was telling the jokes, making people laugh. Some comedy I like, and some I don't. But I just like to see a lot of black people get into comedy. The comedy is good, make you laugh. Because sometimes I can be depressed and look at Bernie Mac, and next thing you know, I'm out of that depression. You know?
Yeah, I'm glad, and God rest his soul. Bernie was one of the legendary comedy guys, and I loved him as well. What you think, Ken?
Yes, I really miss Bernie Mac. You know, I really loved him. He was hilarious in the movie Life. He was really hilarious.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So that was one of your favorite movies of Bernie, or one of his routines?
Well, you know, I like Bernie Mac, and I like one that play Family Feud.
Okay.
I like one that play Family Feud. Yeah, I like him. You know, I like the lady that be on the Miss Parker. I don't see her one that she really made me cracked up.
Yeah. And you know what? Yeah, well, stay tuned. We get ready to go to a break, and stay tuned. We're gonna have some fun comedy. Get ready to come up. So I gotta take to a break. Thank you for calling in, but please chime in and call, and tell everybody else to call in at 915-5202. We get ready to turn on break, and thank you for your comment. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And guess what? Our first guest of the night is Preston Brown. You might know that man. Get Down Brown, man. This man does James Brown. He's an entrepreneur in the Richmond area. He's the owner of WCIM 1450 AM, Famous Brown TV, in which I'm pleasure on having on there. And guess what? I forgot to tell you the breaking news. Real Talk with Monica coming on WCIM 1450 AM starting on August the 23rd, every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. And I'm going to look excited for this great opportunity. But let me get back into introducing this man. Wrestler, man, looks, ran for city council, I mean, politician, everything. Now he's going to be a comedian. And guess what? He's going to be performing for the first time at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone on August the 9th. And we're excited to have this icon legend that first kicked off the studio at Comcast. And so I'm excited to have him first time on my show live. Guess what? Welcome to Real Talk, Preston.
Thank you.
Can you tell me how long you've been a comedian, Mr. Brown? A little bit about yourself.
Great. I should be interviewing you. You the real legend. But you know, I've been doing comedy off and on for about 5 years. I was in a stage play with Shirley Caesar, and I did that for about 3 or 4 years. And I've been doing skits at different churches, and I do a little stand-up comedy here and there. And then I just decided last year that I really want to go into comedy when I got my first Social Security check.
Well, Mr. Brown, what was your favorite comedian that you idolized as growing up?
Well, my favorite was Red Fox, and I love some Mylnczak Mabley.
Oh, yes.
Those are my two favorite. And you know, I like all the comics out there now. Eddie Griffin, Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey. I like all those, but Red Fox, Mylnczak Mabley.
Okay, well, Red Fox, Mylnczak Mabley, what about people like Wild Man Steve, and Rudy Ray Moore?
I like Wild Man Steve, Rudy Ray Moore, all those. You know, they were comedians that you couldn't play on the radio, and it were X-rated. But Red Fox was a little on the borderline before Richard Pryor and all those came out.
Well, why did you even decide to do comedy? Because it's kind of hard.
Well, it's a business. I look at anything that I do, I have to do two things. I have to do something that I like, and then I look at it as a business and not just to be playing games, you know, because you got thousands of comedians out there.
Yeah.
And they got open mics every night of the week somewhere. So, and most of those don't get paid.
So Preston, what good do your comedy routine consist of? Is it clean, a little raunchy, or tell the viewers?
I do clean comedy because I want to go mainstream.
Right.
And a lot of the open mic comedians out here in Richmond now, there's a lot of cussing.
Yeah.
And my stuff is clean.
Yeah, because you told me that you can go to like the churches and do your comedy performance, but you do a little bit of skit acting, right, into some of your routines.
Well, I got a church that I do a annual event for every year, Triumph Baptist Church. I've been doing that for 5 years.
Okay.
They don't want anybody but me, and I come every year, and most of the time I write the skit 2-3 days before it's time to do it. And a lot of times I ad-lib, so.
So you got into talking about like some of the comedies, young up and coming comedians. What about like the Kevin Harts? Do you go out there and see them?
No.
How they transition into film?
No, I didn't really start paying attention to comedians until I decided to get into it. Now I had a comedy night when I had my restaurant nightclub open, Famous Brown, on 9 Mile Road. We did comedy there, and I started taking a look at it at that time. But I didn't think about really doing it till now.
Right.
When I reached retirement age and got my first Social Security check, I said, this ain't gonna make it.
That's comedy right there, man. We see that check over there and says too small. Do you think you can see yourself, Preston, and doing Hollywood, like movies?
Well, right now, I'm doing TV.
Yeah.
I'm on the CW network. I got a weekly show, comes on twice a week. You're gonna be part of it now. So I'm already in front of the camera. I'm on radio. I have performed at some blues concert. I opened up for Clarence Carter, Roy C., Mel Waiters, Bobby Rush, Bobby Parker. So I've been on the stage, but I didn't do, I did a sort of a comedy act. I did a impersonation of James Brown, but I put comedy into my dancing routine.
Right.
So it worked out pretty good.
It did?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it again, but not tonight.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You gotta save it. Yeah, we're gonna tell the viewers a little bit about your show to make sure they got information. How do you feel about female comedians, and do you think it's a double standard in the entertainment?
It's a double standard in America, period.
Yeah.
So it's not whether you're gonna be a comedian. It's just like the president's race. Everything is a double standard, and then it becomes a triple standard when you're black.
So true.
Okay. So, and then the bad part about it, nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
Everybody want to cover it up. And that's why I've been able to do a lot of things that I want to do because I'm bold enough to speak truth and not be afraid. And then I had enough money to back up anything I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a lot of issues, you know, when I was doing stuff. Even when I ran for the Senate, I didn't run for city council.
Yeah, I got that correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ran for Senate, Henry
I
Moore
went,
seat, yeah.
yeah, I went to the top.
Yeah, you
know.
did, you told me.
I went to the most powerful black man in the General Assembly,
Yeah.
and then people took an attitude towards it. But I didn't run just to go to the top. I ran because I wanted to make a difference. You know, we got a lot of issues that are not being covered
Yeah.
for the community, you know, and I kind of ruffled a lot of fellows when I got out there, especially when I started talking about Dominion Power and some of the other companies that are taking advantage of us.
Yeah,
Because I pay a light bill every month just like you do.
right.
So, but that's some of the things.
And I think Ken wanted to ask a couple of questions about the wrestling.
Look, I got a call this afternoon, and I done a little, I was wrestling back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And GXW, which is a independent league right here in Richmond, they have a TV show on Fox 35 on Saturday nights. They called me and asked me to come back and do some shows. So I know they're booking me in Chesterfield at the Chesterfield County Fair this year.
Yeah, we was just talking about it on the
Yeah.
phone, yeah.
And then there's a group down in the Tidewater that want me to come and do some events down there. So wrestling been great for me.
Yeah, I can see me and Ken, we can go down there and do a special correspondence.
So what made you want to wrestle? You know, what wrestlers that you like back?
Well-
So coming back from the 60s, 70s, that's when it was really good.
It was kind of strange. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than smart. When I was in this stage play with Shirley Caesar, I played the part of a pimp. And a wrestling promoter just happened to be there. And he saw me and liked the way that I performed and asked me to come and try out to be a wrestling manager. And that's how I got my break. And then, you know, from doing that, eventually I went to a match one night and they were short of wrestlers. And I said, well, I can do that. So they put me in the ring.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, it was like I was born to do it. You know, I wasn't as big as the rest of them, but I put on a good performance, let's put it that way.
Right, and you got an upcoming comedy show, right?
Yeah, Thursday night I'm gonna be at the Cozy Comedy Club in Newport News. Tuesday,
What time, Preston?
9 o'clock.
Okay.
Then Tuesday I'll be at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone, and I think that show starts at 8 o'clock. And then I'm doing Charles City 1976 class reunion. So I'm doing their show, and that's August the 24th, I believe. And I got a few more engagements that I don't have the exact date,
Okay.
but they've been calling.
All right, I know they will, especially after your routine, and we're excited, and Real Talk with Monica will be down there with a famous brand TV and have this tape.
Well, you're doing a great job here, and you know, if I can do anything to take you to the next level,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna do my part.
Yes.
And you can see that I'm a man of my word because I'm trying to do something with you already.
Yeah, and
So-
I'm very thankful for what you're doing, and I'm very excited for this time that's here. And I was just telling you that a lot of people don't believe in young talent and giving them a break, and you know that's one thing that you have to do. Somebody have to give you opportunity, especially if you got that drive and that passion, and that's what basically Ken was talking about.
Oh yeah, I was listening to him.
Yeah.
I can relate to what he's talking about. If we be on the road, you drive 3 or 4 hours to go to a wrestling match, and sometimes you get paid and sometimes you don't.
Yeah,
But you gotta love what you're doing.
yeah,
You know, and all the time, it's never about the money. You know, the money will come. If you do what you're supposed to do, be successful, the money will come.
yes. So, Preston, we can get ready to wrap up. Where can we find your information at one more time?
Go on YouTube, put in Famous Brown TV show. You can catch my weekly TV show on CW Richmond 65. And you know I'm at WCLM Radio, 1450 AM. And who knows where I'll go from here.
All right, guys, it's going to be exciting. We're going to take another break, and we look up for the one they call Boston John. Get ready to come up. Gracing the stage on Real Talk with Monica. That's Real Talk. Thank you guys for coming back, guys, on this great show. And guess what? We got the one they call Boston John gracing the stage on Real Talk with Monica. John, he's been a comedian, he's a promoter. This guy's all wrapped in one, and I'm so glad he finalized to see what's going on with comedy night. And also, we got a special treat. We're going to bring him on, and also our other guest, Watt Smith, that is going to be coming on to do a comedy routine. So, guys, stay tuned for more great things coming on Real Talk with Monica. So, let's introduce you to this great man, John Boston. Welcome to Real Talk.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yes, can you tell my Real Talk viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I was actually, everybody calls me Boston or Boston John. I was actually born in Richmond. My family's from the Northeast. Started doing actual stage comedy about 2 years ago. Before that, I was emceeing and DJing shows on and off, bartending, you know, so and I know a lot of people at the local comedy club. And they would tell me, you know, dude, you're funny. You know, you should try this. And like anybody else, you know, I was scared to death. I was like, I don't know how to do this. You know, I got to go on the stage. And so the first time I did it was pretty cool. And from there, it's just kind of branched out. And, you know, so it's been a fun ride so far. I look forward to more.
Wow. So why did they call you AKA the one they call Boston?
2004 Red Sox crushed the curse, the 86-year curse against the Yankees. And all I wore, I moved from Roanoke, Virginia back to Richmond.
Okay.
And all I wore was Red Sox gear all the time. So I went to a bunch of free bar poker tournaments, things like that, but I never introduced myself to anybody, so they just started calling me Boston, and it kind of stuck. And then the one they called Boston, I was at a TJ Fridays, I'll never forget this, in Mechanicsville, and the bartender was like, what did he say to me? I ordered a beer or whatever, and he's like, what do you put the tab under? And I was like, just put it under Boston. And he's like, Boston? And I was like, yeah. He's like, do you play poker? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, you're the one they call Boston.
Right.
And I was like, all right, so it kind of stuck. At first, of course, I was thinking, oh boy, what kind of notorious acts am I being accused of now?
Yeah, so do you think being a comedian for the first time is hard, especially if you just do a routine and you see the audience not gravitate, or you're one of those comedians that got to have interaction from the audience?
I kind of, myself personally, I do better when the audience is involved.
Okay.
There's certain clubs and certain places where it's recommended that you work with the crowd, that you kind of pick on the crowd a little bit, things like that. There's other places where you're just, like the local comedy club, Funny Bone, you're just on the stage and the crowd's out there. So you're talking to the crowd and doing jokes, but you can't really, they can't heckle you at bigger comedy clubs. The variety show I host on Thursdays at JJ's Grill, I MC it. And
where's that at, John?
It's on Stables Mill Road, near Hungry Road, JJ's Grill.
Okay.
It's in a shopping strip with the Martins and stuff like that, next to Cross Ridge subdivision. But it's just different because there I know the crowd, most of them.
Yeah.
So I can pick on them, and I pick on being Cowboys fans and all that jazz. And I'm a Patriots fan, so you know I.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. So usually when I do stage stuff, I wear my Tom Brady jersey, and that they remember the guy in the Brady jersey. Let's just put it that way.
So Ken,
When you do your comedy routines, consist of, for instance, are they clean or dirty or in between?
I know my friends watching at home are like, oh, don't answer that honestly. No, usually the ones I grew up listening to with my uncles and my dad, my godfather, my mom, was like, you know, Red Fox, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Lenny Bruce, some of the nastiest, raunchiest, in-your-face comedians of all time. So I kind of mimic my style after that. But I do have clean jokes because I do fundraisers and I help out, you know, people that own, you know, foundations and things like that. So I help out and do fundraisers. So I have clean stuff for that. But when I can just do my thing, you better buckle your seatbelts.
What about the part of the comedians that did you like Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, Eric?
Oh, currently I love both those guys. Dave Chappelle. As far as like black comedians, there's so many great ones. You know, you were talking about Bernie Mac earlier. I still watch a TV show on Netflix from time to time. You know, D.L. Hewley, Steve Harvey, those guys, a lot of them. Like right now, currently, Kevin Hart's the hottest thing.
Yeah.
But Dave Chappelle, like Kevin Hart said in an interview, Dave Chappelle's just bad. Like he just thinks on a totally different level from everybody else. and he's not afraid to cross that threshold and say some things that will upset people.
Right.
Because he knows that's the job. Like, you got to try new stuff and see how it plays out, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, how do you feel, you being a Caucasian comedian, do you think it's a double standard in this type of entertainment when you perform at a black comedy club?
It kind of is. I was talking to a couple of black comedians at the Richmond Funny Bone last Wednesday at the Clash of the Comics, and I said, let's be honest about this. Like, if you're female and a comedian, you kind of automatically have a fan base.
Yeah.
If you're black, you kind of automatically have a fan base. If you're Indian, if you're Latino, whatever, you kind of automatically have it. If you're a white guy, you got to be good.
Yeah.
Because nobody cares what white guys have to say. Like, they really don't. Nobody wants to hear a white guy talk. It's like he's going to say something stupid or talk about golf or something. So the stereotypes are on both ends. As far as it being a double or triple standard, it's a double standard both ways. It just depends, like you said, where you're at. Like, if you go out to Newport News, it's predominantly black at the clubs out there. So you can use different material. Like, you can talk about sports there, to where if you're in the West End of Henrico, no offense, it's kind of hard to talk about NBA and make jokes because a lot of people don't grip what you're saying. So,
Do you have any upcoming shows?
I do. Like I said, I host a show every Thursday at JJ's Grill. It's a variety show. There's musicians, stand-up comedians. I DJ a little bit. I MC it. I'm independent. I kind of just, I do where people allow me to be, I guess, because there's certain stuff, like I said, that it just isn't fit. It just isn't fit for certain atmospheres. Right. But then I have other stuff that is. So it's kind of hit or miss. But yeah, Thursday night, every Thursday at JJ's Grill.
Okay, cool.
So where can we find more information about you?
Oh, Facebook, Boston John Mylnczak. Just look up Boston John, you'll see me. Twitter, at John Mylnczak. Things like that. I'm on Instagram now. But yeah, Facebook and Twitter are the main two. Yeah. Find me in there.
And you got a YouTube channel.
And I have a YouTube channel, Boston John Mylnczak on YouTube. Like I said, I have the explicit warning, explicit language is there, because that's just kind of my style. But trust me, I'm not the same guy in public that I am on the stage. It's a whole different thing. And that's what's hard about the path I chose, is you have to specify that over and over to make sure people understand, like, when I make political jokes or religious jokes, this isn't my actual belief or view. This is me just mimicking, just poking fun and having humor in a real situation that everybody can relate to, if that makes sense.
When you're off stage, is it hard for people to take you serious?
Sometimes. The people that don't know me that well, they always think I'm trying to tell a joke. And it can be difficult. Yeah, it can be difficult at times. Like, I have to use the word seriously rather frequently to make sure people know that I'm being for real.
Wow. And so, John, what are your partner? We're going to have you and introduce him up next, Watt Smith. Yeah,
Watt Smith. He managed to come out tonight. So, And he's been doing it for about 10 years. He's got some longevity. He's got some good stuff.
Did y'all met in the same realm and starting out doing comedy?
Met through comedy, yeah. Actually, JJ's, he was a part-time employee there.
Okay.
And I met him previously, but I really got to know him there when I started hosting the show there on Thursdays. And he comes out every Thursday and plays some parody songs and does stand-up, and it's a good time.
Wow. So we're going to get things going, and we're going to bring out the man of the hour to Watt Smith, and then we're going to have a comedy routine. It's going to be fantastic. And just between the interaction, and he's looking to light up a little bit, man.
Nice to meet y'all out there. I already know what y'all are thinking. Man, this guy's way too fat to be this cute. Man, I gotta make that decision every day. Hey, do I want to be a movie star, or do I want another donut? Decisions. Donuts got me again. Man, I started to lose my hair too. That's how I can tell I'm getting older. My hair's thinning out front. Ever since I started to lose my hair, I started growing potatoes, corn, strawberries, tomatoes. It's like, if I can't grow my hair, I'm gonna grow something. I love food, man. That's why I don't listen to rap music. Because I can never tell when rappers are talking about food or money. Because they use the same words to describe them. They're like, give me that cake, give me that bread, give me that cheddar, give me that cream, give me that dough, give me that bacon. I'm like, man, my mouth is watering. I'm not sure if I should go to the Food Line or the Wells Fargo. So, I do want to be a rapper though. I just don't feel like I have a lifestyle that would make me into a rapper. You know, you get songs like Young Jeezy's song, Then What? He's just got a DJ that goes, Then What? Young Jeezy talks about the next thing that he does in his day. He's like, first I'm gonna stack my dough, then what?
Then what?
Then I'm gonna stack my flow, then what? Then I'm gonna go do this and do that, do this and do that. And I'm like, it's only 11 o'clock, you've already done so much amazing things. Like, I don't even know if I want like toasted mini wheats for breakfast or Honey Nut Cheerios or what. You know, my Then What song would be such a disappointment. First I'm gonna cut my peanut butter and jelly into 4 triangles. Then what? Then I'm gonna go to McDonald's and get a burger. Then what? Then I'm gonna read the newspaper. Then what? You turned me off by the time you got to the chorus, man. But you know, I'm happy here. I'm an Uber driver.
Oh, wow.
So I gotta spend a lot of money on gasoline, and I think the reason we spend so much money on gasoline is because it's in barrels. People are trained from birth to waste barrels. You know, we should keep gas in toothpaste tubes, because the last inch of your toothpaste tube lasts 3 months. You get in front of the mirror squeezing that with your thumbs. Oh yeah! I can't waste a drop of you. Then you pull your thumb away to grab your toothbrush and the toothpaste sucks back in. It's a vicious cycle. But I like driving Uber, you know. Best part is your audience can't leave. I prayed for a guy on Uber. You know, he had a cold, so I said, in Jesus' name, I pray that your cold goes away. Sure enough, it went away right there in an instant. That's when I realized, hey, I have the spiritual gift of healing. I'm just afraid to use it, because I don't want to be sued for malpractice. All right, thanks for the time, y'all.
Yes, we got a couple more minutes, guys. If you want to call in for one quick question, comment, please call in at 915-5202. I think this is going to be a popular show. And my man, Ken Peebles, I think we got a dynamic combination coming on. And I feel it in the room. And I'm loving this dynamic discussion and topic. So come on, call in for the one last time to speak to John and also Watt. Come on, we got a couple of more minutes.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
We'll
They're
answer
not,
honestly.
they're not gonna rip you up in the audience. So, you know what, before we go around the room, I'm going to ask this last question. What will you want to see yourself down the road? Starting with you, John.
Ultimately, I would like to live in Vegas, in Las Vegas, and do comedy there primarily, but then hit LA a lot, and San Francisco and San Diego, and hit some clubs out west.
Right.
I just like it better out there. Like Vegas, I'm a 24-hour kind of guy, and a 24-hour city would be ideal for me. And
Wow.
you know, I'm a big gambler, and I would just, that's just where I want to be, definitely.
Cool. What?
I want to have a farm, horses, wife, good food, people coming over all the time, good people, bad people, all people, and just love everybody.
Oh,
That's
wow.
my goal.
Thank you, guys. And Ken, we're going to wrap it up. We got less than 30 seconds. Have a great time tonight.
Yes. And I'm going to answer a question you asked them. I would like to see myself sitting at the BET Awards, the SAG Awards, and the ultimate one, the Oscars.
Guys, you hear that, guys? I think we got a combination going. I would love to do the Purple Carpet event with Ken. And like I said, we're doing more great things. So stay tuned for more great things on Real Talk with Monica. We're coming up. Check us out on YouTube channel, Real Talk with Monica. And as well, we're going to be on Famous Brown TV, on WPV, on channel, we got 65, 213, 214, and it's on the CW network, guys. And this episode will be uploaded soon. So stay tuned. Thank you again for a great show, season finale. And you know what I said at the end of my show? That's real talk.